Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. D here. I'm here with Mrs. Patterson, our boss, and Mr. Gammon. We are here live from the middle school e-learning cafe. Today's Monday, June 1st, 2020. We have quite a bit of information to share with you today. We're going to go slow to make sure that you're clear on it. First of all, under the student engagement activity area, we have the Survivor Week is kicked off, and it starts today. There's all kinds of information on the internet. You can definitely participate. The kids, as I mentioned last week, they did a fantastic job of explaining what's going on. And they're also opening it up to everybody. Former students, current students, old people, young people, middle-aged people. And it's open to anybody. So we're trying to include everybody and have some kind of an engagement activity. And I just need to tell you, those student council kids are doing an awesome job. And thank you to them for every week coming up with something to do that just tries to bring us together, just to have an opportunity to do some type of an activity and share it, and then we all get to celebrate that. So thank you to those guys. All right, competencies. Under the umbrella of competencies, keep working. Engage with your teacher. You don't have much time left. You're working hard. Really appreciate it. Get those competencies met. I know that some of the teachers will be starting soon, and when they start their competency and you're done with it, you're done. So congratulations for working hard. We really appreciate it. That brings me to grades and feedback. And I want to take a minute and say thank you to the persons who actually contacted me and had some concerns about the word that I used, which was a gift, and also on the process that we shared from the whiteboard behind me last week, talking about passing and failing, etc. One of the things that I have to keep reminding myself is that I'm doing this every day. We all are. There's a whole bunch of us here working every day, and some of the things that I'm mentioning are just second nature, and then when we announce them here, I keep forgetting you haven't been working on it every day, so you don't have all the information. So I want to share a little bit more. One of the reasons why we're doing the grading system the way we are is because the governor shared that we weren't allowed to hand out grades. From that point, there are some schools who are assigning a grade total at the end of the school year, and we're still looking into that. But what I mentioned last week was if you're passing and you pass, you get a pass, and I went through all the combinations and permutations. And there was some feedback about, hey, what about the kid who came in and has done every single assignment and done it really well and worked really hard, and quite honestly, done what you're supposed to do. And I really can't say thank you enough. Your reward is the fact that that's how you are behaving, and that's how you're handling life, and you're doing a good job. Here's some of the reasons why things here will not be fair. They will be equitable, but they won't be fair. Let me give you an example. Some of the persons live so far away from the district that the hot spots aren't working, okay? Some of the folks are homeless and have lost their homes and moved to different places. So getting them work during that time is not equitable at all. So if they don't get a grade based on what they did, they're dealing with enough stuff. Some folks have been admitted to the hospital. Some people just don't have enough money to spend to get internet up and running in their homes. So marrying all of these things, which I have sheltered you from, I'll own that, all of that information, some people are very blessed where they have people in a home that are helping their kids with work, and their kids are working every day, and that's awesome. That's why we're trying to be equitable and not fair. Because fair, as my dad said, is a place you go to get cotton candy once a month, or once a summer, okay? We're going to be equitable. There are so many pieces to this. What we're doing right now, and what I explained to you, was pass, this is how you pass. If you fail, you're going to do the competency over. We're still having conversations about how to put that into grades, okay? Here's why. Our current system, which is the school tool system, the way it calculates grades is not equitable at all. I'll give you an example. If I'm in a full year class and I get a P, that doesn't count that grade. If I'm in a half-year class, like if I took the half-year class between September and January, and I ended up with a grade, that student would get not only credit, but they would also have that grade entered into their transcript. Okay? There are so many mismatches that I'm going to have to ask you to trust us because we love you, and we're not going to hurt anybody. For those of you who are working really hard, keep doing it. I'm going to tell you right now, in the long run in life, it's going to pay off for you. And in these 2 months, it might not. But you're doing the right thing. And that's got to be something that we need to celebrate. So thank you for doing that. That brings us through the grading piece. Thank you so much. for those who took the time to share directly with me. I can't tell you how much it's easier for me to try to address something when someone's direct and brings it right to me, as opposed to Facebook or Twitter. I don't even get involved in those things. Okay? So thank you. I really, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate it. That brings us to another piece of feedback we got last week, quite a bit. That's excuse me. That's senior graduation and what we haven't done anything for seniors. And I need to tell you, that's pretty hurtful. Because I'm here to say that every teacher, custodian, school lunch person, nurse, administrator has worked harder over this COVID pause baloney that we're in than we do when we're in school regularly. And that's why it's hurtful, and I'll tell you why. Some schools chose to do senior signs in April and in early May. And they have, all the glory came out of it then. What are they doing now? There's nothing left to do. Today's June 1st. We go slow, we get feedback, we make the best decision we can, and we will honor our kids because we love you. We weren't in a race to get out there to be the first one to come up with a senior signs or the first one to talk about graduation, because I'm here to tell you, if the governor changes his mind, all those graduation plans that have been semi-announced or released will have to be changed. So what we're doing is we're talking to the students, because honestly, that's what I care about most. What do you want? So we're planning right now a graduation on graduation day on campus, just like the kids asked. Now, we haven't shared all the information for you. Some of it, quite honestly, Mr. Gammon and Mrs. Patterson, they are thick as thieves with me in this, trying to make sure that we're getting this right. We want it to be special. So we're kind of playing it a little close to the vest. So we could come out there and announce all this and look really cool, but if it doesn't come to fruition, then we look like we're not caring, and we do care. That's the part that's hurtful, okay? A couple of things. Senior Sign Day is tomorrow, June 2nd, okay, from 12 to 2. Come on through. The only thing that might change on that, by the way, is if it rains, we may use the same tents that they do for handing out food. I told you before we would go right in front of school. We'll see how that works. Don't worry about it. We'll have people guiding you. It'll be an awesome day. We're going to ask Mrs. Evans, who's behind the camera, she's been awesome, to come and video some of that and put that out there, because we want you to see what it was like for kids to come through. If you're a senior and you can't come through, we had a couple of kids saying, "Oh, Mr. D, I'm not here." No problem. You can pick it up later. If you're a senior, like, there's no way I can get there, let me know. We'll deliver it to your house. We would love to do that. We want everybody to have them at the same time, okay, because we do love you. There's a couple other things coming up. Graduation, I just mentioned. The musical. I'm heartbroken because they keep pushing us out as far as larger groups. We'll see what happens. That's still on the board. But that's another thing we're doing under the umbrella of we're not doing anything for our seniors. That's another thing we're sort of waiting on. We're kind of hoping that the governor pulls back a little bit, because we want to make kids happy. Okay, we didn't get in here to this career or this field to be a stick in the mud. We got here because we love kids. We love you. And we're going to do our best for you. Another thing is we talked about. I got a call from Danielle Truscott. Now that kid, if you poked her finger with a pin, she'd bleed orange. She loves Livonia. What did she do? She went out and got a whole bunch of stones, and she made one stone for every single senior, painted it up, and asked can she put it at the flagpole. And I'm going to say absolutely yes. And I hope to goodness that when you're done and you walk across the stage and you have your graduation, you go get your rock and take it home with you, because that kid cares. And I want to say thank you, Dan. You did an awesome job. We have a whole bunch of people that are doing similar things. Like I said, you have the student council kids that are working. Everyone's trying their best. Let's just keep that in mind, okay? All right, that being said, we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to come back and finish up with a little bit more news. Mrs. Patterson and Mr. Gammon are here today, as we mentioned earlier, to speak about the Bulldog Pride Awards for the spring. So I'm going to be quiet now and let them roll, and Mrs. Patterson, she's our boss, as we've told you many times before. We'll let her and Mr. Gammon kick this off, and then Mr. Gammon also has a special message for you. Thanks.
Morning, Bulldogs. It's really great to be able to talk to you guys today, especially after what's been kind of a difficult weekend in our country. I know sometimes it's tough when you watch what's going on not to get caught up in the anger and the emotions surrounding what's going on. I was reminded of this weekend by a post by Tony Dungy about Romans 12 says, "Don't be overcome by evil, overcome evil by good." And that's kind of what we're asking you guys to do. There's no better time right now than to come together as a Bulldog family, reach out to one another, listen to one another, listen with compassion and empathy. And I know that if we unite and come together as a Bulldog family together, you guys can be the change that this world so desperately needs. So, be Bulldog strong through this. Today, kind of along those same lines, we're going to look at the Bulldog Pride Award ceremony. The Bulldog Pride Award is a really cool award. 42 students were selected this spring to get one. Unlike a lot of schools, we don't just give awards for the top math student, the top English student. We give awards to students at Livonia High School we have for many years for just being a great kid, being a great person, for showing effort, attitude in the classroom, for being a person of character, by showing those compassion, respect, and responsibility, for really just choosing, through this crazy world of all the negative that's around us, you chose to rise above and just make this a great place for all of us. And part of this is you'll get the award in the mail. You also you'll be getting a personal letter from myself and also from the teacher who nominated you, kind of talking to you about why they chose you and why you have made a lasting impression on them, that they still remember now, that what you did when you were here, that was pretty cool, that an impression that they remembered and the impact they had not only on them but on the students in the class. So Mrs. Patterson, like Mr. D said, she's a big part of making this happen. It wouldn't happen without her. So Mrs. Patterson's going to read the award winners. So once again, congratulations. And now for our Bulldog Pride Spring Award winners.
Good morning, everybody. I still miss you. So congratulations to the following Spring Bulldog Pride Award winners: Brian Moscato, Emma Sorgenfrey, Eli Hopkins, Owen Hensler, Olivia Turek, Anna Noragong, Kelsey Stewart, Nick Trueheart, Molly Flanagan, Amara Evans, Angela Tewksbury, Okan Fazakerly, Maura Miller, Kennedy Neckers, Shaylin Lauster, Maya Morphy, Haley Yaman, Caitlin DeWater, AJ Davin, Jillian Genthner, Brendan Mayo, Jenny Blakemore, Jake Marsh, Jessica Romanowski, Ethan Matzik, Ella Keller, Maren Gammon, Ben Hardy, Tyler Canute, Matt Schneider, Lillian Jarzabek, Dylan Rohde, Jake Smith, Elizabeth Petrillo, Tom Gifford, Austin Levy, Lauren Connor, Madison Adams, Dan Richards, Jared King, Samantha Kesa, and Amelia Kwok. Congratulations all.
Yeah,
Good job.
Yay.
once again, congratulations. That's a great list. And once again, thank you from my bottom of my heart, because you guys are selected because, like I said, with everything wrong, you guys are what's still right in this world, and you've made Livonia a great place because of your effort, and you'll find out in more detail from that teacher why you were picked. But because of you, Livonia is still a great place, and I know the future of this country is going to be bright because you guys are going to be leading it. So thank you once again.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that we understand. This is the spring awards. There was another one in the fall, right?
Yep.
How did you break them up? How did they get broken up?
We did it by department. So half the departments honored students in the fall, and then the half are in the spring. So each department honors a couple students from each teacher does from their class that represents the qualities that we're looking for.
Cool. So thank you. Thank you also to the fall winners, the spring winners. Thank you both. Thank you for your message, Mr. Gammon. Two more things and we'll get going. Just a reminder, tomorrow, Senior Sign Day. Please stop by, 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. We will be right at school. Come in through Bulldog Boulevard, and we will have people directing you around to get your sign. And we're real happy. We're really happy for you. We just can't wait to see you on that. I wanted to also comment, as Mr. Gammon did, on our world today. We've been telling you all along that God has asked us as a commandment to love one another. That doesn't matter what color of your skin, what your religion is, what your sexual orientation is, what anything. God asked us to love you. So when we've been asking you to do that, continue doing so. This is a tough time. This is a very, very difficult time. And I believe firmly that there is good and evil in this world. And I think that we get to choose which side we want to spend time with. Stay positive, stay Livonia, like Mr. Gammon says. I remember we were both teaching at Rush Henrietta, and we both came out here within, a couple of years of each other. Mrs. Patterson, also Rush Henrietta graduate,
Yep.
by the way, go Royal Comets. But we all came out. Mrs. Patterson was here, I think, when they built the school. Is that right, Mrs. Patterson? I'm sorry.
A couple years
A
after.
couple years after, yeah. She was the first person who moved to Livonia. No, I'm kidding.
Right after we got rid of the horses.
Yeah. So we came out here because we knew this was an awesome place. We wanted to raise our families here, and it's because of you guys, because of the parents, the community members, the things we do, the fire trucks that go around, and the having just the people who volunteer and the people in this community, and we love it here. So let's keep on the loving one another. Okay, don't get caught up in the who said what and what. Get caught up in that. Am I doing all I can to love everybody who's around me, regardless of what their decisions or what their beliefs are right now, but just to love them, because that's what God's asked us to do. And I ask you to do that, okay? In closing, we do love you. Pray for you all the time. I know you're not supposed to have prayer at schools, but I'm here to tell you right now, I pray every single day in the school. And for you, it's mostly for you and for your families. For those families who have parents there who are feeding kids and it's not a problem. For the families who are spending time at Strong Memorial Hospital. For the families who are homeless and who had to move out of our district but still receive our services. And for all the families who are having, whether it's tough times, really tough times, or some folks have it's just pretty much status quo. Wherever you are, I don't care. We're praying for you and we love you. And we're never going to quit on you. And we're going to try to make this the best place we can. We're going to do it with class. We're going to take our time. We're going to get feedback. And we're going to show you we love you. Okay? Please remember that. And as always, God bless you guys and have a great day.